Alright. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Naven Gaming, where today we are continuing our journey through Rogue Trader. So, I have been debating about what other type of game to play on the channel. I've been considering it for a bit. I haven't thought of a game that I would particularly want to play on the channel. I may just end up choosing to play just some random-ass game, right? Just to see how that works. You know, like, I have a few games that I like to play, and now, although I would like to just, I wouldn't mind playing them on the channel. I don't know if people would want to see that. I kind of did say when I first came back, just like, hey, I'll just play whatever the hell I want, right? And that's still very much true, but I also don't know if people would actually want to see me play something that I've already played, right? I mean, except for maybe Space Marines too, but that's only because I was trying to prove kind of a point. And even then, I don't know if I really got that point across, but that's neither here or there. Point being, I also think that the 40, it has to be something outside of the franchise related, because 40K is, while it is a fantastic franchise, I do notice that there aren't a whole lot of games in the 40K universe that would be interesting to play. I mean, not necessarily interesting to play. It's like I think that 40K has a lot of flavors from what I'm seeing, but some of the things that I'm finding are, they're not really my shtick. I will try Dawn of War at some point, but I also think that people would like to see something else on the channel other than maybe 40K. Maybe nothing Warhammer related, just something different, like, I don't know. I had thought about playing Dead Rising, the remaster. I'm sorry, the remake on the channel, but I'm not too sure if I want to play that, to be honest, because I played a little bit of it, and I'm like, this plays like Dead Rising, but it plays like the old Dead Rising, but it's a little different, and I don't like the voice acting. I just don't. And they also, from what I understood, changed a few of the lines. I thought about maybe doing it just to see how much they've changed, but I don't know. I mean, by that point, I might as well just play some of the older games, right? I don't know. Because some of the older games actually had a pretty good gameplay loop. Anyways, I mean, the remaster is good gameplay-wise, but I mean, remake. I keep calling it a remaster because they didn't actually remake it. Like, they built the thing back from the ground up, right? But it's still the same game. It's still Dead Rising original, just with a much more polished and sheener coat of paint, right? It just looks better. It's still Dead Rising, just looks better, right? And I think that's kind of like so it doesn't really register in my mind as a remake so much as a remaster, right? Because Final Fantasy VII, for example, is a remake, alright? You're not playing the world like you did in the original. You're playing through the world from a third-person perspective with a camera very close to your character, and the world feels entirely alive and well fleshed out, and it's not isometric or none of that shit, right? It's a much different beast from the original game. But yeah, and I gotta say, let's just go ahead and get back into it. I have been looking for a few games, but some of the games that I'm looking at are JRPG related, and some of those things are time sinks, so I could understand if people don't necessarily want to maybe watch another long playthrough. I mean, I thought about playing other games like maybe Armored Core, or maybe playing, I don't know, Metro. Something that's more story-focused, that's a bit quicker to get through. But I don't know. I mean, I'm a story guy. I'm also an RPG guy, so trying to find anything else on the channel to do other than those few things is kind of difficult for me. I'm usually open to playing anything, right? But there's just some games that I don't think are fun to watch, but I don't know. I mean, would you say you would come to watch the person? Well, actually, yeah, of course you do. You would come to watch the person more so than the content, right? I wouldn't say that I'm the most entertaining person, though, so I'm so used to putting myself down. I've also been kind of out of it recently. Alright. So here we are, back to the combat encounter. I wouldn't say that I am depressed, as I am just... Where should I put you? I'll put you here. I wouldn't say that I'm depressed, as I am more so just like, I'm just focusing. Because I've been in a bit of a funk, right? I haven't been feeling all that great about myself recently, and it's not necessarily has anything to do with, like, just life sucks, you know? I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone can understand life just kind of sucks sometimes. Could I move her over there? I might move her over there. I could just move Abelard over there, actually. I'll put Abelard here for now. Actually, I'll put Abelard right here. That way he can move out when he needs to. As for myself, I'll put myself here. Let's see. Me and Argenta are up, so... Rebel Gunner. You know what? I'll put myself... No, actually, I'll put Cabela here. Okay. That should work. We're good, we're good. Alrighty. Oh, she can't see from here? Oh, that's unfortunate. Dang, you can't shoot them dead. That's unfortunate.
God Emperor, move through me. Be the fire in my heart. Each strike is a prayer.
Nice. Alright. Starting off strong so far. %95 chance to hit. Won't do too much damage. I will kill this person with it, though.
You never stood a chance.
Oof. Alright. We're good. We're good. We're cooking. We're cooking. We're cooking with fire.
Here we go.
Alright. Cabela will be up next at some point here. Actually, maybe I'll just have you, rush it. No, I can't. Okay. There we go.
I've seen worse battles than this in my time.
Almost got him. I don't think you're gonna hit that, but we'll do it.
One fewer task.
Or maybe you will. Alright. We're cooking.
Victory is imminent.
Well, yeah. And if anybody has any recommendations, you know, like, I'll listen to that. I also thought about buying Silent Hill, but then I'm like, because I hearing a lot of good things about Silent Hill, and that's one of the other type of franchises or genres that I like is survival horror. So I thought about that as well. But I don't know. I ended up spending a lot more money than I thought this week, and I don't like that at all. I just, I didn't realize I had a dentist appointment this week at the time of this recording, and I I also didn't realize that, you know, like, I just didn't think I was going to be spending a lot of money. I also bought a couple of, you know, I also bought a game for a couple of my friends so that way we'd all play it. So I ended up spending a lot more than I thought I would this week. And so that's very unfortunate, because otherwise I would get Silent Hill 2, the remake, but because that was going to be like something that I'm like, oh man, what's something that I could do outside of just 40k Rogue Trader? Oh, I know. And also, that's just not 40k in general. Silent Hill 2 just came out. Seems really interesting. A lot of people have good things to say about it. Might as well try that, right?
Time to slaughter someone.
But no. Let's see, I'll go ahead.
My blade whispers your name.
And then the best part is if I do this.
Honor ordains.
Okay, never mind. I thought that would also hit that person. Alright. We'll just hit you. We'll just hit you and call it a day.
The shadows will see it done.
Very unfortunate. I'll move him up. Actually, can I shoot you from here? No. What about from here? I could for some reason. I'm not going to question it, but I can. More likely to hit with the sniper shot. Damn.
Request approved.
Okay. Anything else? Let's hit him with that exposed weakness.
Inside knows all, comprehends all.
Alright. Idira, you are so severely injured, it's not even funny. You can't even see from there. Can't even see from there either. You could hit Argenta with that.
They who discern the future own the battlefield.
All right.
But of course.
This ought to kill the shit out of you.
Is worthless.
Ah, I missed the other guy. That's annoying.
As the Emperor commands, I act. I'll do it.
All right.
Power resides in the will of the righteous. As the Emperor commands, I act. Doubt is for the weak.
Just tap the one button. Damn it. Didn't get him. All right. I will not be able to see him, which is unfortunate, but I could at least move an extra space if I do this.
Good as done.
Run right up to him if I wanted. I think I'd rather just run up to him straight out and just slash the crap out of him. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, he's not exactly a melee-focused character. Mm-hmm. Let's do it.
I'll make it happen.
On a 95? That's insane.
I'll
That's
see to it
insane.
personally.
On a 95. God damn.
Show me what you've got.
Nice dodge. We're just gonna unload on you, my good sir.
Target well struck.
Damn. And you're just out of range. That would take up all of it.
It will be done.
Okay. Just move up. Alright, next. I do believe you will not be able to shoot this person.
As the tactical imperative dictates.
So far, our roster of characters, I heard there's a overall total of 13, which is insane. But so far, our roster of characters is pretty interesting. We got an assassin, you got a sister of battle, by far one of my favorite factions. You got a fucking... You can make your own custom character with their own background. You got all kinds. All kinds. Can't see them. Alright. Honestly, I don't even think you're even needed over here. Finish it off, Argenta. Finish it off.
Emperor commands, I act.
On a 75, that's a little disappointing, but we're gonna live with that.
I'll make it happen.
On a 95! Come on!
I won't stand for it.
On a 95! My protagonist misses. I don't like that at all.
Let's get to it.
I've suffered worse.
You certainly have. Now just walk right up to him and just finish him. Thank you. His life was prolonged far longer than necessary. And we get a nice little cutscene, I think. What was that? What was that? What was that? It looked like someone was talking to us. Loot. Okay. Powerful explosion destroyed a large part of the bridge, both above and below. Could someone still be alive in there? Could they?
My success is an irrefutable
Ooh, a new chainsword. Officer's chainsword. Neat. And some new pieces of armor. I could give this to myself. I don't know why it does less. If anything, it does about the same. Hmm. I kind of want to go with the officer's chainsaw. Not gonna lie, I kind of want to for the pro tag here. Parry is 20%, not 20, 10%. Wait, what? When hit? Oh, that's neat. But I think it'd probably be better for you. 8 to 10? Yeah. Abelard's got a new chainsword. How nice. What's the stat on this one? Increases damage from all sources against any hit targets by 15 until the end of combat. Does not stack. Alright, and this piece of armor. Fortress World Origin. Oh, I guess we all know who that's going to belong to. Or maybe they're not able to right now. Oh, fascinating. Only you can wear it? It's medium armor, though. You're a dodge type character. You don't really need this crap. Fascinating. Why is she the only one who couldn't equip it? You're a Fortress World character, aren't you? Oh no, that's right. Fortress World characters are... Yeah, Fortress World Origin. Yeah, those are... I'm thinking of like the economic one. Why am I thinking of the economic one? By the way, where do I even go to see that stuff? Character sheet? He's iconoclast and a dogmatic follower. Oh, here we go. Imperial World Navy officer. He was a Navy officer. Interesting. Uh-huh. Forsaken. You are the Forge World. That's what it was. Tech Priest, of course. When I get a chance, I also want to check to see if when I make a female character, that you can choose like gender-specific backgrounds. That'd be pretty dope if you could. Better believe I wouldn't make my character in another playthrough an Adeptus Roritas.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
From your vantage point, it does not seem like this lavish mansion has been damaged by explosions, but you cannot enter. Something is blocking the entrance from the inside. The edge, the edge, the edge of what? The light, it's in me. It's inside. Okay, so he's just a madman. Just a straight-up madman. Well, we could go down. And so far, all paths lead to going down, so... Yeah, collect it. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm thinking about, like, maybe... Because I was also bouncing between a few ideas like Tales of Arise... Or I have Scarlet Nexus as well, and that's just been sitting in my library. Both of those games have been sitting in my library, and I don't know which one to play. if I were to play it. I don't know when I would want to play it either. Because I played the demo of Nexus, but I've never actually played the full game, despite the fact that I did buy it at one point. I also have Tales of Arise, but I've never been that... I've never been that interested in Tales games. Except for Vesperia, which is what I played a while back. And I have not finished that. I could actually just pick up where I left off, but I don't know if I want to. And plus, the task of setting all that up again is going to be a pain in the ass. Because that game's on my Switch. At least the data is on my Switch, so... Rebels, soldiers, ordinary workers, everyone perish under the rubble of the ruined bridge and building. I actually like the story of Vesperia as well.
Rise to the top.
It has a very
Dust.
simple story, but it's nice. It's like a comfy type of story, you know? It's got a comfy narrative. Just like how people have their comfort foods, you know, Vesperia has that comfortable story.
The key to success.
Boy.
Fortune smiles.
Sins hidden
An ill
in the
omen.
heart turn all to decay. Cast your eye there.
Woof. We're not going that way. Or maybe we can. She just started singing all of a sudden.
The Emperor favors me today. See, right there. Never doubt me.
And just like that, we all leveled up from disabling mines. Oh boy.
I better myself through my service. Onward.
Did I just level up twice?
The Emperor favors me today.
What is going on? Am I just stunting? I feel like I'm just stunting, but I feel like she just keeps leveling up. Unless that's
Never
just,
doubt me.
or maybe it's just doing that just to notify me that I got leveled up. I have no idea. Anyways, we'll go through it now. That's kind of funny. Dash. The soldier immediately dashes in the selected direction, spending all their movement points. Does not provoke. Don't I already have this ability? I already have this ability. What do you mean? I have running gun. What does this do? The soldier immediately dashes in the selected direction, spending all their movement points. Does not provoke acts of opportunity. Allows the soldier to dash through allies and enemies, but not through obstacles. Okay, so if I just needed to get somewhere quickly, that's what this is for. Next ranged area attack made by the soldier deals 100% damage and has an additional 20% dodge reduction. Spends all their AP and MP and gains 30 plus bonus to cover efficiency. Then gain back all spent AP and MP plus 1 additional AP. It also resets the cooldown of all other soldier abilities except for run and gun. That might be useful on Argenta, actually. I'm gonna go with the recommended, but I might just give that to Argenta, if it allows me to. The warrior's next melee attack gains 20% armor penetration and 8+ damage and ignores 12% of the target's parry. Who survives an attack enhanced by this ability will attack the warrior in return, including creatures with ranged weapons. Sounds good to me, actually. And 5+ of the same characteristic. I'll go with that. Whenever the operative attacks an enemy that is at full wounds, the attack deals 15% more damage to that enemy. I mean, I'll get it, but... Mm-hmm. I mean... That's a funny number. That's a funny number. I wonder if it's because maybe I gave her no heresy. I wonder if that's the reason. I'm gonna give her Lore of the Warp, because of course. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna give you Entrench. Demolition is unnecessary. An absolute must. I'm actually curious, though. I need to check this. Yeah, I did. They're at 0. But it's so funny that it literally makes it impossible to recover from that. It's not just 0, it's on a negative 170. You will never come out of that shit. Oath of Vengeance. This ability costs 10 wounds to use. The Blade Dancer selected an ally. Selects an ally until the end of combat. Attacks made by Blade Dancer against enemies who have already attacked that ally gain 16% critical hit chance. And 28% critical damage. Interesting. So Yeah, Oath of Vengeance would be really good for a duo for Abelard and Hearn. Can be used multiple times per turn, but the bonuses do not stack. Veil of Blades, the ability costs 10 wounds to use. The Blade Dancer faces a side of their choice, and immediately ends their turn. Until the beginning of the Blade Dancer's next turn, they can dodge area attacks without moving, are immune to all types of forced movement, gain 20% parry against attacks from that side, and can now parry attacks made against adjacent allies. While under the effect of Veil of Blaze, the Blade Dancer can even parry ranged attacks, except ranged area attacks made from that side. The chance to parry a ranged attack is calculated as if it were a melee attack where the attacker's weapon skill is equal to the hit chance. It can only be used with a sword equipped. Yeah, it figures, but that's actually pretty dope, as a matter of fact. I like Oath of Vengeance more, but that's actually pretty dope. Death Warden. The Blade Dancer's Medicaid is now determined. Race against... increases the damage of all subsequent attacks they make this turn by 5+. This effect stacks up to 3 times. Area of attacks, burst attacks, including Blade Dance. The Blade Dancer's melee area attack costs 1 AP less. I like Rising Tempo more. Last one. Operative. What you got for me, Pascal? What the hell's wrong with his blast with the L in his name? Or maybe he just didn't load in, I don't know. Fresh targets, instant exposure. I'm gonna go with fresh target for him because that actually makes sense. He has a lot of information on Xenos and Medicaid. I need more Xeno-type lore. So we're gonna go with Xeno.
The machine god grants me insight.
I always keep my options open. Success is the only outcome.
These enormous humming transformers must be part of a single and much larger mechanism that supplies power to the whole hive. What the hell is this? On his journey across the world, caught in the throes of heretical insurgency, the Lord Captain accidentally witnessed the unholy rite that transpired in one of the maintenance rooms of an aqueduct. This abandoned nook turned out to be heretics' gathering place for performing their grim and profane acts. A large group of rebels stood frozen in patient anticipation, all staring into the center of the room. No one moved, only the murmur of hushed voices echoed against the metal walls. The Lord Captain ran a cursory glance over the room, assessing the situation. What the hell? This is like a choose-your-own-adventure thing now. Oh, that's weird. Okay. The hell is going on? The rebels were unremarkable in appearance. They were dressed in the shabby clothes of object rabble, spoke in coarse voices, and had repulsive faces. But what caught the Lord Captain's attention was the look of strange, almost sinister anticipation in their eyes. This was no gathering of loud blasphemers or bored idlers. Did they literally just not, like, act out the scene? Did they run out of budget or something? I don't know. It's just so random. I'm so used to everything being voiced or, like, acted out in the game. I'm not used to suddenly things turning into a story adventure type spiel. This was no gathering of loud blasphemers or bored idlers. Only occasionally would they exchange brief, unintelligible remarks. As they stood in a frozen circle, their gaze turned toward the hulking structure in the center of the room. Bulky power transformers, cogitators, crates, and voxcasters took up most of the space. Against their background, the structure in the center stood out oddly. An enormous lens mounted on a stand. It caught the thin sunbeams that made their way through slits in the ceiling and crossed the half-lit room. Awareness. The Lord Captain peered into the darkness enveloping the room. 100%. We're gonna go with this one. Into the darkness enveloping the room. Although barely visibly visible behind the closed ranks of the insurgents, the rusted barrels with evidently flammable contents had not escaped the Lord Captain's keen eye. One good shot at those barrels would decimate the number of heretics on Rykod Minoris. The Lord Captain patiently observed what happened next. As if commanded by a grim unseen force, the insurgents fell silent at once, and, in a single movement, parted. A thick, sticky silence filled the room. The heretics' gazes were turned toward a metal structure with a lens on top of it. It's another one of these stupid things. Okay. Lens on top of it, standing tall in the middle of a circle of melting candles, piles of books, and unholy symbols drawn on the floor. The structure flashed as a single sun ray illuminated it. Did it just skip something? Okay. The blinded man's harrowing scream. It did. It skipped something. A sound of bare feet broke the sinister silence as a man emerged from the deep shadows. Reeling, he entered the circle and collapsed on his knees in front of the enormous lens. Not a second had passed before many rebels' hands gripped the fallen man's shoulders and hair. Remember, comrade, the last sun ray you behold will be yours only, shared with no one else. Your holy final dawn, bellowed a lone heretic's voice amid the silent crowd. By the doing of someone's hands, the lens had turned, and its focused ray feasted on the prisoner's eyes. The blinded man's harrowing scream shook the very walls of the place. Consumed by the rite, the rebels had not yet noticed the stranger in their midst. The Lord Captain braced himself and... blew up the fuel barrels, thinning the heretics' ranks. Why is my character all the way over here and everyone else is all the way over here? That's... Excuse me? Also, are you taking cover behind an explosive barrel? Please tell me you're not a brainlet who's taking cover behind an explosive barrel. Is that an explosive barrel? I can't tell. Oh man, this music really changed for this. Leader of the cultists, acolyte cultists. Okay. And it's still a while before my turn, which is great. It seems everybody will get a turn before I will. I don't want to be too far. So I'm moving myself there. Avalar can go here. Idira can go here. Argenta can go here. Cabela could be here. And Pascal can move here. Alright, we're good.
Death to the weak.
Brace yourself, Abelard.
Let's see. If I move you here.
I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury.
That's
Faith without
annoying.
deeds is worthless.
Please break that.
I'll do it.
Thank you. All right. Let's go ahead and just leave it there.
Chaos guides me.
Trust me.
All right. I don't think... No, I can't.
Such is the will of chaos. An offering of blood.
She is not dodging those attacks. So wait, this person can see me, but I can't see them? I call horseshit. Let's see. Oh, interesting. Okay. So that's how that works. That's just for maneuvering past an enemy or whatnot. I will have a line of sight on certain enemies. In fact, since I have a line of sight on that guy, that means I have a line of sight on... Yes, I do. Nice. Is this covered? Doesn't tell me. Oh, it no longer tells me anything. Okay. I'm gonna assume it is, though.
I'll see to it personally.
Alright, that was a weird stutter. Didn't like that.
Will do.
Managed to hit him with that. Alright.
Anything else? I bring ruin.
Out of my way!
I'll move you here. In fact, I'll move you here. And then we're gonna just smack the crap out of him.
Explorers know one route. Forward.
God. That melee attack is so broken. Alright. We can't do anything else now, but that's fine. Shut off steam. Oh, that's something that can hurt? Alright, good to know. I could, otherwise probably would have just had him run through that. There we go. Now I can move up. This music is so hardcore, by the way. It's kind of funny. Let's see, I gave you a rifle. Oh yeah, you have a decent chance to hit. Alright, let's go ahead and take it then.
My place is at the fort.
Nice. I can't get close enough, but that would have been nice too, to top that off.
Indeed.
This pain is meaningless. Only she can show me the true something. The cult leader is using magic now. Well, shit. Oh, they summon demons. Wonderful. There an explosive barrel near you? Not really. Wonderful. Summoning demons. I could probably hit you multiple times. In fact, I should probably take care of the lens first. Now that I think about it, because I remember that being a problem in the Rykod Filius, so... So far I could do nothing, so we're just gonna go ahead and just try to shoot. Hopefully maybe hit two birds with one stone. Damn, but I did get the other one.
I serve the ruinous powers.
I serve the ruinous powers!
Just a minor setback.
Damn, he committed suicide. My guy did kamikaze strike on me. I unfortunately cannot get close enough to hit them twice. I only have one charge, too. Unfortunate. Let's see, this one's the 2 square one, so we'll do that. And then I'll do a jump and then do it again. Maybe. Maybe it'd be better for them to come to me, actually. Yeah, maybe I'll just go to them. No, I just don't trust it. Maybe if I throw blood, make it rain blood.
I shall not fail.
All right.
Trust me. As the tenants demand.
All right.
The shadows will see it done.
Let's see how well this goes. I may have just signed her death warrant. Alright, I can move up now. I don't know if I want to. Not me. Alright, let's go ahead and use my regimental tactics ability. And I can kill that guy pretty quickly with that. I'm honestly hoping this will hit, but I don't want it to. Yeah, and I'll move up, and then I'll go ahead and let's see. Yeah, I'll just run up and shoot, and then I'll use run and gun. to shoot again.
Who, if not me? It's as good as done. Another enemy down.
Okay. And then I could use dash to try and get away, but I'm not going to. So we're just going to leave my character there.
There is only death. Yours.
Ooh. Yeah, I think I did sign her death warrant, but I was kind of hoping this might work. Let's see. If I move you over here, can you cast forewarning? No. If I move you here, I cannot. Target is too far. I have to be closer, literally closer than this.
I know what is to come.
Nice dodge.
High momentum.
Hit you with that exposed weakness.
Fury algorithm.
Alright.
My vow is to serve.
Almost. I almost got you with that.
I feel nothing. Fear nothing.
High momentum.
Oh boy, she is going to die. Yeah, she is going to die. The warrior immediately restores all AP and MP and gains 3+ movements until the end of turn.
No matter the cost.
Move you here, and then use this dash ability to get right into the demon's face.
A tactically sound approach.
Okay, costs 1 AP. Warrior's next melee attack gains 15% armor penetration and 6+ damage, and ignores 9% of the target's parry. Well, this creature will not survive if I were to do this right, so... Only one person will survive, technically. I'm doing it.
I will do my duty.
Only one creature would potentially survive. Alright. I'm going for... this one.
It will be done.
For one round, the Navy officer and their allies in 3 cell gain 2+ deflection.
At
Yes.
your beck and call.
As
Run
the
and
Emperor
gun.
commands, I act.
Looks like a 5-cell radius to me.
The enemies of the Emperor will be undone!
This has the potential of hitting Cabela, but honestly, it's likely to miss too. Maybe if I warn her first? In fact, by doing that, can do this, actually.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
That was disappointing. Anyways.
Faith without none can escape the Emperor's
What is
judgment.
done cannot be undone.
Nice.
Negligible.
I can't seem to run inside that, which is interesting. Probably because of the candle, I have no idea. Anyways, this guy will probably be a problem. I'm gonna focus on the other dickheads first. Actually, yeah, let's focus. Let's do that.
As honor ordains.
Broke it. Nice. And then we'll do this ability.
Death comes in silence.
Nice. Alright. But we're not done yet. Not by a long shot. So now I can do a death from above if I so wanted to, but honestly, I don't know if I want to. Yeah, we'll cut it there. Oh, there's a douchebag right there, too. Yeah, I don't mind it. As long as I kill this guy.
I'll make it happen.
Can I reload?
Stop mocking me.
The warp energies here are pretty severe.
What is this foreboding?
Yeah, you still can't do anything.
What's a peculiar thing?
It's just too bad that combat tends to ruin my ability to move.
Advancing. The Omnissiah condemns you.
indeed. At your beck and call.
Nice. Wait, do I want to shoot? No, I don't want to shoot you. I'll charge you.
Tried and tested tactics are the best ones. I took care of this one.
Alright.
God Emperor, move through me! Be the fire in my heart!
Damn it.
In thy light I stand, and thy light I crave! Doubt is for the weak. As the Emperor commands, I act.
One of them is killing you. One of them is killing you, my god.
The shadows reveal their secrets. I shall not be caught by the web. Come, the other side awaits.
Done. Alright.
My eyes are stinging like crazy. I'll need augments if this goes on much longer. And the voices are still howling. I can hear my little friends behind the door sniffing at this lens, muttering to it. I can sense its foul, clammy energy. A nasty piece of kit.
This construct and its intended purpose truly evoke nothing but horror.
Huh. The ritual site is covered in ominous heretical symbols, each of which is unmistakably emanating malevolent power of the war. Nothing but a pile of shards remains of the sinister lens that the heretics used to burn the eyes of the devout cultists.
I always have a backup plan.
There we go.
That's how it's done.
Marking on this Voxcaster clearly indicates that it belongs to the planetary wardens. There are visible scratches, traces of blood on the device. The cogitator screen reads access code required. Tech use. Breach the cogitator's defenses. Test succeeded. The machine spirits look favorably upon you. You overcome the cogitator's defenses. Yeah, we probably interrogated the cogitator for information on how to interact and bypass its bullshit. The message archive loads up. Judging by the accompanying notes, the messages were meticulously transferred from paper to the sacred machine storage. Go to missives, go to dispatches. Missives? We'll start with the first one. New missive. Heed the words of the Harbinger of Aurora. Let it be known to you that the prophesied hour is nigh, and the faithful must triple their efforts. Those who stand in the way of our salvation must be swept away. Let it be revealed to you that the enemy is about to receive reinforcements. Remember the name Cornelius von Valentius. His ship has already entered the system. We should expect this enemy to appear near our positions. Whoever rids our comrades of this threat will be granted Aurora's special blessing, a chance to stand at the prophet's side when the hour comes. Be vigilant. Let the final dawn come. New missive. Von Valentius' ship has set off for Raikadi Philia. We pray that our comrades there manage to vanquish Aurora's enemy on their own, but you must anticipate the worst and do everything to make sure Von Valencius's path definitely ends on Rykon Minoris. Dispatches. Tell the Harbingers we've intercepted a convoy of the governor's underlings who were supposed to meet that Von Valencius bloke. Only one out of the whole convoy got away, but he's not long for this world. No one's making it to the governor's hole. Not that youngster or the ones he's supposed to meet. Our comrades have got their hands on a guard's Foxcaster, and these fools have no clue we could hear all their comms. We know their every movement, and we're going to throw them a fine welcome party. How did they not account for that? Okay. Whatever. Aurora must have no doubts that we'll do whatever it takes to stop her enemies. Let the final dawn come. I wonder if Aurora is the demon that's speaking to us, or was speaking to us.
Let us not dawdle.
Duty prevails.
Operation successful.
Phantom Cloak grants 15% armor against warp damage. Who would that be useful for, I wonder? I'm gonna give you this cloak. You're not exactly the first person I give that cloak to, but there we go. Yeah, it looks like we're done here. For the most part.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
Oh, this is where we started, isn't it?
Is there money to be made?
This Explorator is blessed with multifunctionality. Operation successful. The machine god grants me insight.
May blind be forgiven.
This Explorator is blessed.
May the blind be forgiven for their ignorance. What? Alright, well, before we go.
I always keep my options open.
Oh, this goes to the sewers.
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
Okay, I guess those are to hack the doors open, because they'll probably be locked if we had entered in a different way. Huh. This was another way we could have gone. Alright.
I always have a backup plan.
Okay, what's this? Fight heresy, serve a higher purpose, safeguard humanity's dominion. I think we're near where we need to be. To the eastern side. Oh, this must be where we were supposed to enter from. This must be where the survivors have held up.
Over there.
We were probably supposed to cross that bridge to get here.
Nothing escapes my sight. I better myself through my service.
Holy shit, there are so many mines.
The Emperor favors me today. Duty prevails. I better myself.
I'm just gonna disarm them all. I get experience for doing it, so.
The Emperor favors me today. Duty prevails.
Clearly oblivious to your presence, the soldier mutters incoherently and does not react to anything around him. So he's not even dead.
We should deal with this.
Let us not dawdle.
I see what others do not.
What happened? Where's the trap? Where is it? Oh, it's right there. Just came from there. Okay. Some 10 people, children among them, are huddling together in fear. You see that half of them have black holes where their eyes used to be. Some maintain a gloomy silence, others are wailing. Several armed insurgents are carefully watching over the terrified hostages, snapping every now and then at someone for shaking too much or crying too loudly. Come to your senses, Harold. Look at what you're doing to your own family. A woman of about 60, gray-haired but still strong, is kneeling before a stocky man with a thick, pure white beard, stretching her arms toward him. Take pity on us. Let us go. Fanatical old man, stop talking and embrace redemption. Our children have gained true sight, while you still believe the lie. Upon seeing you, the man points his weapon at you. The other insurgents do the same. Who are you and why are you here? Hmm. I'm not sure what would be a good choice here. No, you tell me. Who are you and what are you doing to these unfortunates? I'm the chief. My former name, Harold, is meaningless now. I am a father leading his family to deliverance from woes, to salvation. Aurora has opened my eyes to the truth, and my children will see it. Harold, spare us. Spare your children. Pascal's vox hisses furiously. Layperson, cognition is not your primary function. You are saving your kin by holding them at gunpoint and believing that burning their eyes will grant them sight. It is evident that the author of the demagogic teaching that confused you meant to make a mockery of your deplorable intellect. Jesus. Fucking burn. Abelard's face turns to a deep red. To cast your own children into the thrall of heresy. To drown your progeny in this filth with your own hands. I remember when Vizier used to sew our eyes shut so that his young spinners would see the truth. Cabela's voice sounds hollow, but there are glowing embers of fury in her eyes. Our ritual is one of service to him. It is tempered and prepared us for our duty. What you are working here is despicable heresy, a blasphemous mockery of our sacred disciplines. I don't know if the options will disappear if I choose anything else, but I kind of want to test my options here. Are all these people your family? All of my adopted and blood children are here. I raised them all as my own, and now I must protect them, help them see. Where do you try to save them from? And who is behind all this? At Aurora's behest. Aurora is a great prophet and a great warrior. Their face is shrouded, but their gaze pierces the veil of time and sees into the future. I always knew the governor's dogs were hiding the truth from us. And now, the day has come. A prophet has come to Rykod Minoris and opened our eyes. The end of the world is coming, the final dawn, and only those who accept Aurora's truth will survive it. You have been torturing your own family in order to save them. You have been hiding behind. You have been blinding them so that they could see the truth. What you are doing is no salvation. Stop taking your fear out on the innocent. It will neither ease your suffering nor rid you of fear. But all I wanted was to save. The man drops his weapon and covers his face with his hands in desperation. You hear several short sobs. There's no washing the blood from your hands, but you could at least let us go, Errol. The ones you haven't mutilated. The old man gestures to the other insurgents who lowers their weapons. Then he shifts his gaze to you, trying to hold back tears. What happens to us now? Dogmatic, kill the old man. Your family will be taken care of. As for you, I condemn you to death. Your family may go, and so may you, but make sure I do not ever see you again. The hostages begin to leave, and soon the group disappears around one of the bends. The old man looks away from them and walks in the opposite direction. His shoulders shake with sobs every now and then. Fascinating. And we level up from that. Let's see. When all stacks of Never Stop Shooting should be lost, they become one stack instead. Additionally, a Fortress World character may upgrade their willpower characteristic even if their current archetypes do not allow it. First reload in combat costs 0 AP. Reloading a weapon grants additional 10 plus stacks of Never Stop Shooting. Ugh. So far, so good. I didn't click on this. Alright. While in cover, operatives gain 25% cover efficiency, 15% perception, and 15 ballistic skill. There's one exploit from each enemy in a 5-cell radius around a point within 10 cells from the operative. If there is only one enemy in the area, the operative removes all exploit stacks from that enemy. All allies gain exploits removed armor until the end of combat. If 4 or more exploits are removed, the operative gains damage until the end of combat. I have no idea how these stats work. I'm gonna say joint analysis as well. I think we'll get perfect spot for our friend here. Edge of Fate, flawless plan, unnatural luck. We'll get Edge of Fate. Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. Why is her demolition so high? Precise strike. Perfect spot. Fires of the Forge. Steel of the Forge. 3+ deflection against burning effect. 10%, let's see. 10% bonus to hit chance and dodge reduction against any target they hit with a single target attack. Increases hit chance and dodge reduction by 20. I like this one. Okay. Nope.
Is there money to be made?
No, that was a close one.
Never doubt me. I woke up with a feeling of wonder, as if a field of flowers was blossoming nearby. A child was saved from death. 1,000 heretics were burning alive, begging and sobbing and howling.
Are we good, Argenta? Are we good?
I better myself through my service.
Yipper. Take it a little slower,
Always keep your eye on the prize.
considering that we almost just walked into that. I don't know where the civilians went, but the goods in this stall are stark in contrast to the rest of the nearby shops. All-purpose synth powder fills you up no matter what.
I always keep my options open.
I mean, I think that just goes to... Or maybe not. Did we not pass a check? I feel like there should be something here for our efforts. I guess we didn't... I guess there might have been loot here, but nobody passed a check to get it.
I always have a backup plan.
Command center. Well, I don't want to go to the command center from there. Unless I have to. It looks like I have to. Okay. Talk to the governor. Formidable shells of a large caliber weapons are being stored right in the command center.
Keep
That
your wits
seems kind of
about you.
dangerous if you ask me. Oh, I see. There's no bridge here. Welcome to Rykon Minora's command center. Now that the heresy of rebellion has engulfed this entire world, no walls offer shelter from his furious judgment. Indeed, our only option is to fight to the last drop of blood and secure victory for the glory of the Emperor, or to die in attempt. No voice acting for the dialogue with the DLC character. Interesting. I think the tech priest is having a problem. Governor Medine. The tall, dark-skinned man turns toward you, and greets you in a curt military manner. Faisal Rakati Ab Medina of Coronis, governor of this star system. Welcome to my temporary headquarters. The man's gaze falls on Abelard, his eyes slightly narrow. Orsarian? Abelard nods dryly. Governor Medine, my greetings. Then the governor notices Cabela's clothes, and his eyes go wide. He adds, softly and cautiously, this woman, she is your bodyguard, I presume? Or is she here to... He stops, choosing not to finish his question. I'm not saying the convoy had sent to meet you. What happened? Did they fail to find an escort you? If that is so, I promise you their punishment will be swift and severe. The convoy was ambushed and massacred. The only surviving soldier turned out to be a traitor and was personally executed by me. That is an outrage. I will have the personnel vetting procedure change immediately. The slightest suspicion will be grounds for arrest. Your Lordship, before we proceed with discussing the matters that are of interest to you, there is a question I feel compelled to ask. It was only recently that Lady Theodora was the head of House von Valencius. I have received no words of her demise. How is it that you are now the rogue traitor? Was attacked, Theodora was killed. My esteemed predecessor died at the hands of cultists. May the Emperor incinerate their souls. The governor frowns, and a deep shadow falls over his face. Rogue traitor von Valencius, slain? Unthinkable. Please accept my deepest and most sincere condolences, Your Lordship. Do not hesitate to let me know how I might be of help. Commerce. I need fresh crew to replace those killed in the attack on the ship, and I need material compensation. Profit factor gained. Test succeeded. The governor bows his head in acceptance. Of course, Your Lordship, you will be compensated for any losses, and I'll see to it personally that your ship's holds are filled with the finest goods and from my personal reserves. I see. Gain a profit factor gained of 2. Gain 28 experience. Abelard nods in approval and remarks quietly, Excellent, Your Lordship. A rogue trader has no use for leniency. I can offer you several thousand fine, obedient servants. However, I'm sad to inform you that I won't be able to do it until we've dealt with the insurgency on the planet. I'm sure you won't have to wait long. The rabble will soon be duly punished for their heretical scheming. Are you so confident that you will crush the insurrection soon? My own impression has been the exact opposite. Is that so? The governor maintains his composure. I'd like to hear your reasoning. Interesting choices of dialogue. My reasoning? One would have to be blind not to see all the signs of the cultist activity. Have you ever had to deal with such a threat before, Governor? My reasoning? One would have to be blind not to see all the signs of cultist activity. Have you ever had to deal with such a threat before, Governor Medine? As a soldier of the Astra Militarum, I have. So do not waste my time with requests to prove the obvious, because I speak from experience. The governor's eyes darken, but your unwavering gaze makes him give in. All right. Perhaps I've underestimated the mutiny, writing it off as the rabble's usual nonsense. However, if it does involve corruption in an underground cult, this needs to be investigated. I'll assign additional resources to it and take the issue seriously. You have my word, Your Lordship. I wish to commend the courage of one of your officers, Sergeant Malgar. He and his soldiers valiantly defend the starport. The sergeant who managed to impress a person of such noble standing will be recommended for decoration. Let's see. My kinsman, Conrad Voidavir von Valencius, has betrayed our dynasty and the Imperium. If he is hiding in this system, I want him handed over to me. Voidavir is a traitor? Why, any family, however noble, has an unworthy scion or two. Naturally, we will surrender him should we find him with my jurisdiction. Unfortunately, I have no information regarding his location. However, the governor pauses to think. We have a cogitator here at the command center. It's connected to a data crypt from Logos Abel's sanctum. Interesting. It's aggregated all the Lex Mechanic reports Unfortunately, these are interesting. Okay. Data repository sanctified by the Adeptus Mechanicus to be used in conjunction with the cogitator. Interesting. Lex Mechanic, a low-ranking tech priest. Okay. Aggregated all the Lex Mechanic reports. Unfortunately, the prayer for it is unknown to me. If you manage to convince the stubborn machine, you might learn something about Kunrad's movements. I'd hazard he fled from you on a ship, not on a pair of wings. Heinrox von Kolox. Heinrox von Kolox, an interrogator of the Most Holy Inquisition, is operating in your system. Do you know where he is? The governor lowers his voice. I do. Master von Kolox has left for the hollowed electrodynamic cenobium. It's an ancient monastery of the Adeptus Mechanicus. I don't know what his objectives are. Needless to say, insurgent activity has been observed in the monastery vicinity, but I suppose that's too petty of a problem for an agent of the Most Holy Inquisition. Besides, I have already sent a small detachment of reinforcements there. The weapon the insurgents were using to shoot down shuttles over the city has been destroyed. Now nothing is preventing you from returning to your ship. If you wish to find Master von Kolox, you should go to the cenobium of the Adeptus Mechanicus. That must be something that I just did when I was on my way here. Notes of anxiety creep into the voice that rattles from Pascal's box. On behalf of the priesthood of Mars, I, Megos Hanoman, am officially initiating my participation in the operation. I must inspect the state of the relic and assure myself that it is under zero risk of falling into heretic hands. According to the Catechism of Maintenance and Operation, my tech comrades were supposed to lock the monastery gates against lay people and activate the traps. I deem it optimal that an ordained Magos should provide his assistance. I categorically object. The governor clenches his fist. As much as I respect the sanctity of your monastery, I have on my hands a whole capital that needs to be attended by the Omnissiah's servants. We have lost many eminent tech priests. Incidentally, one of them perished in that same monastery. Mechanical failures could occur at any time. Putting it bluntly, you may consider yourself forcibly recruited into the city's defense forces. Medine and Pascal glare at each other, their unyielding gazes like crossed swords. This Magos is part of my retinue. You have no right to give him orders. You mistake me for a fool. I know that he arrived separately from you, and I would bet my life that... No. The governor's voice dies down in the low growl of a drill mechondrite. Its tip is directed straight at the bridge of his nose. Medine clears his throat and grumbles stubbornly. So this is the negotiation technique you have resorted to. Do you think this is the first time I have been threatened with a weapon? No, but this could be your last. Pascal's voice is akin to the sound produced by his drilling implement, steady and calm, but ready to explode at a moment's notice with a crunching of bone and the squelching of tearing flesh. I am heading to the monastery because I must. Is that clear? The governor mutters through gritted teeth. Abundantly so, Magos. Why are you so determined to get to the monastery? Is it just because of the relic? It is why I came to this world. I am expected there. It would be my pleasure to assist the Omnissiah's servant in reaching the sanctum. Thank you for your cooperation, your lordship. The drill stops. As compensation for your consideration of my request, I, Magos Hanuman, officially undertake to accompany you in the Rykot system. in the role of bodyguard and to protect you at all costs until your life functions cease, but only within the limits of the Rykod system. You're Hanuman. Glad you're alive. The governor raises his eyebrows and stares at the tech priest in surprise, but refrains from further commentary. Pascal, what is so special about the Cenobium that the relic, what is there that has drawn the attention of an interrogator of the Inquisition? I have never been there before, but I would presume that the sacred relic of the reactor is capable of great destruction should it end up in the heretic hands. The fury of the freed machine spirits, once released from the sacred circuit, will destroy everything around them. The degree of damage inflicted may render the world of Rykod Minoris uninhabitable. Heresy must be purged from those blessed halls. I declare any desecrator or who defiles the relic's power a Category 3 blasphemer deserving of immediate execution. I wish to know more about the monastery. The Cenobium has been run by the Adeptus Mechanicus ever since the colony was founded. The sacred reactor is guarded by its priest's powers the entire planet. Okay, I see how. Okay, so now I see how that's right. The sacred reactor guarded by its priests powers the entire planet. I could say no more. It is a forbidden place that even I have only been allowed to visit once before. Why not shell the monastery if that is where the insurgents have gathered, or deploy a landing force? Fulfilling this request puts the monastery in danger of major destruction. The consequences of this decision for the world of Rykod Minoris could be catastrophic. What has perplexed you about my companion's name? The governor looks at Pascal with curiosity. According to the reports we've received, Logus Abel Hanuman set off for the hallowed electrodynamic Cenobium a short while before it was stormed. I'm glad to find out that you're safe. Perhaps you possess information on Master Von Kolox. Vox rasp in confusion. My name is Pascal Hanuman, not Abel. I know nothing about such a person. Okay, maybe this guy does have split personality disorder. What do you know about this Abel, Governor? I've never met him in person. That esteemed Logos supervised the work of the Rykod Minoris' Lex Mechanics for many years. However, he rarely left his cyber chapel, and I never had the honor of making his acquaintance. A true anchorite. Why did he fly to the monastery? That seems suspicious. When a Logos at the Adeptus Mechanicus wants to go somewhere, we don't ask why, your lordship. Where can I get more information on this individual? I would have suggested that you inspect the esteemed Logos' sanctum, but it was destroyed by the rebels. We recovered several data crypts and connected them to the cogitator at the command post. They might provide you with some information. It is amazing that a mechanical voice from a Vox can sound so confused. That name might have been used as a signal intelligible only to its intended recipient. In that case, its bearer might be Archmagos Amarnot. Amarnot? I don't know how to say that. Initiating an investigation and data collection procedure. Idea tenses up and listens, then turns around sharply to face Pascal. I can hear my friend snide whispers through the door. Be careful on your search, Magos. If you stare into a shattered mirror for too long, you might see yourself in it. In every shard at once. Many is that much more of a tainted affair than the new reflection is death-like. The fuck? Glad to be of service, your lordship. Is there anything else I can do on this planet or in this system while I wait for the end of the revolt? There is a Navis Nobilite station. in the system, but those hermits don't do business with anyone. Not even I have ever been invited on board. However, they've been known to make exceptions for members of rogue trader families. Perhaps they will make one for you. Is that all I'm privy to? I guess we're heading straight for that crypt now. That place anyways. This must be the cogitator that they were talking about. The cogitator looks a lot older and more worn than the ones next to it. However, it has evidently been well cared for. Numerous parts have been replaced, and not a single key is jammed. And fresh seals with prayers to the Omnissiah adorn its surface. One of the side panels has been removed. Bundles of gold-notched cables run from inside to a small data crypt that was connected only a short while ago. Awaiting access codes. Tech use 55, of course. Force access to the cogitator. Yet bypass the security layers. The cogitator is ready to reveal its secrets. Pascal leans forward and runs his fingers over the keys. The cogitator's screen blinks and responds with strings of unknown characters. I appeal to the machine spirits to open Logos Abel's personal archives as well. It has accepted my request. Go to Logos' private archive. Results of Logos Abel's data trance. Yeah. I cannot see the secret design, but I can sense it, shackled in stasis. The minds of the initiate are slumbering in the neural harness of their vows. I am registering an impulse of change. I surmise a potential influence on the stasis of the secret design. There came a time when the spiral was turned into a circle, but the cycle cannot be discontinued. The revelation granted by the Omnissiah to Logos Abel in the course of his data meditation has been recorded verbatim. Logos Abel is seeking an audience with the venerable Dar Impulse VI, who may assist in interpreting the revelation. A request has been sent to the governor's palace for a shuttle flight to the electrodynamic cenobium. A message has also been sent to the Furibundus system. The cycle can be discontinued. I recognize the words. The voice from the Vox is soft and pensive, barely audible over the static noise. I believe I know the intended recipient of the message in the Furibundus system. It was me, Omnissiah. Grant me the wisdom to fathom this mystery. I believe I know the intended recipient of the message in the Furibundus system. It was me. Go to Sacred Computation 7825M. Upon Logos Abel's orders, the archives of every augur station on Rykod Minoris and the two primary satellites of Rykod Star have been queried. Said satellites are named Magos Maurof and Zafire, the King, after two great champions of faith, whose external cogitators were placed inside the satellite's cores after their shells perished. The purpose of the sacred computation requested by the Logos is to uncover the external influence behind the ongoing insurgency. Computation results positive. Multiple instances of interference and malfunctions detected, suggesting that the ships moving across the system deliberately blinded the sacred augur's eyes. The first of these ships is thought to have arrived 2 Rykod Minoris cycles ago, early in the winter. The most recent one arrived a month ago. Logos Abel's conclusion. The insurrection on the planet had been long in the making with the participation of external actors. It is alleged that the 2 cycles ago, Aurora arrived in the Rykod system, the rumored unholy prophet of the insurgents. The subsequent ship movements can be attributed to weapon deliveries But what is the nature of their activity near Rykot Philia? The Governor Medine's attention must be drawn to. The final entry cuts off abruptly. Go to recent observations. The satellite Magos Marof reports that a ship has translated into the system. Its signature is consistent with the records of the flagship of Rogue Trader Dynasty, House von Valencius. The satellite Zafire, the King, reports that a ship drifting nearby has hurriedly sped away. The ship had sent an encrypted Vox transmission to the insurgent-controlled areas of the surface of Rykot Minoris. Another transmission was directed to the planetoid Rykot Philia. Both transmissions were signed Brother Twilight. Their contents could not be decrypted. That's likely fucking Voidivir. The entry contains planet-side coordinates marked as Heavy Auger Station jamming, possibly hidden insurgent base. Alright, interesting. Chains are used to adjust the height of the command platform. Seems to be everything in this area.
Rise to the top or get left in the dust.
Time to return to the Void Ship for now, so we can repair our goddamn injuries. Is the finest assassin of Bloodspun Web, death cult dwelling in the bowels of the Von Valencia's flagship from an early age of blah. Alright. Back to the bridge. We're going to go ahead and try to rest up a little bit, and then we'll do more character dialogue. Oh my god, it's already 2 hours? Holy shit. I guess we'll cap the episode off with one of those, maybe. And then I think I'll do the next episode on I think I'll try maybe playing a different game or something. If nothing else, I'll just make another episode of this, but, you know, I have been thinking about it a little bit as I've been playing. Okay. Alright, all of our bullshit has been fixed. That's good, that's good. Alright, in that case, no time to waste. Let's go ahead and look at our map, see who's around. Capella's down there. Pascal's over here. Argenta's over here. I've already spoken to Idira. I guess I'll go talk to... Wait, what? The hell is this? Go talk to Cabela. Why is there blood around her? Dolmen Cornelius. Cabela puts away the dagger she has been using to reopen her freshly closed wounds. That explains the fucking blood on the floor. Just show the scars covering Cabela's skin. You always address me as Doman. What does that word mean?
The Gothic we use to communicate is different to that spoken on the upper decks. Domin has many meanings. Giver of life, Lord or Lady of the Ark, and Shadowless Sun. The matriarch's Spider gave this title to the rogue trader who allowed her to form the Bloodspun Web. We use other titles as well. For example, Venai means Master of the Immaterium, or Watcher of the Veil. Vil means one who must go to the other side. Amig means one you can trust in battle.
So, Vil is someone who needs to die. And I should be wary whenever you mutter Vil in people's presences. And Amig means friend. Gesture at the scars covering Capella's skin. You torture your own flesh. What is the meaning of this ritual?
Torture? I bear the sacred marks of the Undying One's service. Death has bestowed them upon me. Though others may cherish hollow riches or meaningless beauty, it is my duty to cherish his gift of blood. Each wound is a symbol of our service to him. Each drop of blood carries his blessing. To renounce these scars is to renounce the Undying One himself.
Fascinating.
Death whispers to me, you are worthy of bearing his marks. Tell me, Domin, do you wish to honor your flesh with his gifts?
You notice several officers exchange worried glances as the eye of the blade in Capella's hands. It would be an honor to bear the mark of the Undying One. I'm only doing it just to be on their good side. Again, I want to maintain a decent relationship with these people so they don't go off the deep end.
Let it be so. Treasure his gift, Domin. Inscribe it anew each time you pray. May his blessing find you.
I don't know if I would do that, but thanks a bunch. Capella waits patiently as you prepare yourself for the ritual. Once you are ready, she carefully presses her blade to your skin and carves the sacred symbol into your flesh with a skillful precision. The wounds sting and burn painfully as they begin to bleed. I would like to know more about the sacred mysteries of the mysterious death cult.
The Vizier taught us that there are many like us throughout the Imperium who spill blood in his name. Death cultists, as they call us. He said that no two death cults are the same, just as there are no two identical stars in the void. I will tell you about the Bloodspun Web, but I cannot speak on behalf of all death cults.
What is the cult's purpose? How long has the Bloodspun Web existed? You say the God Emperor is death. There are some who might find the comparison blasphemous.
The Undying One is death itself. We serve him, and thus we serve death. This is not a comparison, attribution, or preference. It is the truth, and nothing can change it.
What is the cult's purpose? How long has the Bloodspun Web been in existence? I'm not sure which one to do. Can you teach me to follow the tenets of the Bloodspun Web? Why do you call yourself spinners?
Through blood, sweat, tears, and the strength of their convictions, the servants of the Undying One spin the souls of your subjects into threads of balance. This is why we refer to ourselves as spinners. Those who are newly committed to the blood-spun web are called lesser spinners. If they are faithful in their service to him, they may eventually become spinners. The most devout of us all are known as the High Spinners, of whom there are 7, each bearing a unique title. The Vizier, the first spinner, leads the cult. I, Kibella, am the second spinner. The third spinner's name is Io, and there are 4 more.
Fascinating. What is the cult's purpose? How long has the Bloodspun Web been in existence? Can you teach me to follow the tenets of the Bloodspun Web?
The tenets are knowledge, an art that is passed down from one generation of the blood-spun web to the next. Even so, there are spinners who will never fully comprehend this knowledge in the time allotted to them by the Undying One. The tenets dictate how one follows the thread of life, but they are also the thread itself, from first breath to last. The tenets cannot be taught, they must be lived. Only then will you understand.
This cult's fascinating, but it's also very insane. This cult's very fascinating, but it's also very, very unhinged. And so, I mean, it's hardcore as shit, I'll give them that, but it really kind of takes me out of it a little bit when they're so devoted to it that it's the only lens they view the world from. It's kind of funny how that works. What is the cult's purpose?
The blood-spun web holds the bays of the flagship together with the threads of its faith. Such is our service to the Domini of the von Valancius line. The Undying One commanded the Domini to embark on a ship and sail the Void's expanse. And thus, it became our duty to protect your dynasty and the Ark that became its home. This great relic of blood and adamantine. Some loathe and fear us. They call us murderers and reapers. Others call us dancers of death, who send the souls of the dead on their way. Both are right. Both are wrong. We are servants of the Undying Emperor. When he whispers that the time has come for a righteous martyr's soul to be laid in his blessed hands, we come to claim it. When he whispers that the wicked must know of his wrath, we come to reap. This is how we maintain order on the ship, unseen and guided by death's will.
This might sound kind of stupid, and I only just came up with it just now, as I'm listening to this dialogue. But we all know that the Emperor is, he's not just like some holier-than-thou being. He's also very flawed. He's kind of a dickhead some of the time, if not most of the time. He has noble ambitions and noble goals, but he has a very obtuse way of getting to those things. and he basically delegates most of the duties that need doing to people other than himself, such as the Primarchs. And I just thought, that reminds me a lot of that reminds me a lot of Greek mythology with with like the gods of Olympus. And I was thinking to myself, like, how interesting would it be if they made a TV show about Warhammer 40K? Nah, I don't know what Henry was gonna do. Henry Cavill, the actor. I don't know what show he was a part of with Amazon or what they were going to do with the 40K franchise. But how fucking interesting would it be if we got a TV show that focuses specifically on the Primarchs and the Emperor and his relationships with them? And it's basically like a interesting sort of like I wouldn't say like a TV show that's more like a character study. It's more like a TV show that just shows us like the day in the life of the Primarchs, and it's kind of just like they show us like what these Primarchs are about, who they are, what they do, and what kind of personalities they have, and what kind of characters they are, right? Like. Because it's one thing to read the story and the lore of 40K and all that other good stuff, but it's another thing to experience it, right? And I think a visual media like in a TV show or something would be an interesting one, even if it has only like sparse action. If that action is at least good, I think people could like swallow the fact that there's less action, because again, just focusing on the relationships of the Primarchs between themselves and the Emperor would just be an interesting idea. Because, I mean, again, we only know their interactions through, like, books and novels and all that other good shit, right? What if there was a TV show that just focused on the Primarchs and how before the heresy, they all behaved, they all acted, how they were found, like, and all that other stuff like that, right? Like, the story could start off simply by either through Gilliman's eyes or through Horace's eyes, or just, like, one of those two, right? Because, like, it makes sense to do it with Gilliman because he's, his Ultramar and his line, his Legion, the 13th Legion, is the dominant force in the galaxy at the current moment. He has created such a successful empire that he's dubbed it Ultramar, and so like the most noticeable and most recognizable of the Space Marines is his chapter. So it makes sense to me that he could be the star of that show, at least initially, and then we could jump around between other Primarchs, right? Like the point of the show is that we get to see the Primarchs from their eyes, from their perspective, and we get to see their stories being told or create new ones, right? Like we can actually add stuff to their character, in this fashion. Of course, I would be remiss to have, again, morons writing the show, but, like, if all the right people were in charge, this could be an interesting idea, right? And then we get to see, like, an awesome epic story or saga of, like, during the Great Crusade across the stars, where it was just about finding Primarchs, bringing them from their, basically, like, recruiting them into the Imperium and then sending them off to do the Emperor's will and, find more humans, more Primarchs, and recruit them. Or it doesn't even have to focus on that. It could also just focus on, like, a little bit of that. Maybe the story... Okay. Actually, maybe the story starts off where after they found the last of the Primarchs, I don't know who were the last people to be found. Like the story could start off with, after all the Primarchs are found, it's then the Emperor who gives them the job of basically delegating, like, what they do, how they run the Imperium from there on out, and then it's just basically a back and forth of, because, Horus was considered the War Master at the time, right? And so he continues to lead the crusade across the galaxy to reunite humanity with the Imperium, right? And so, what if we see? What if the story focuses on specifically that, and then all of the stories that happened there during that point leads up to the eventual heresy, right? The Horus heresy that kickstarts off the descent among the Primarchs, and then the Primarch show ends with, you know, Horus basically betraying everyone, going on a massive fucking mutiny, you know, and against the Imperium, and then the story then ends with, you know, the final confrontation between, you know, the Emperor and Horus, and then it ends with, you know, the Emperor being sat on the throne, and, you know, everyone basically kind of fucked, right? That's a pretty, I would think that would make for a pretty interesting show. You know, if people would actually bother to fucking do it right? You know, it could make for an interesting TV show. Like, it doesn't have to focus too hard on the action. It just has to focus on the relationships and dynamics between the characters. You know, because people, at least women in particular, like soap operas. And guys also, like, they'll watch, I mean, we've had a lot of shows. No, actually, no. We've had one show in particular that's proof in this, right? Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is basically just that. It's basically just politics and spades, right? With a hint of political assassination, violence, bribery, among other shit, right? As well as whatever decrepit, deviant shit that the nobility tends to be into, and among other disgusting things. But you get the point, right? It would make for an interesting sort of show, but just less of the political backstabbing and nonsense, but more so just on, like, see how knowable and yet but over the top the Imperium is. Like, we can highlight all of the terrible things that the Imperium and the Primarchs do, while simultaneously highlighting some of the good things that they're trying to do, and what all of it is supposed to stand for, right? We can do both. We can show the legitimacy in their actions while simultaneously condemning them for committing atrocities in the name for those goals and ideals, right? I think you can certainly have an interesting sort of TV show with this kind of idea. Again, this requires some actual work and pay. You know, it requires some real resources to really make happen, but I think it could easily be done, and I think it could also easily be an interesting little starter, a buffer, and a nice little exposure to the actual lore of 40K, at least for the Space Marine perspective, since everybody knows the Space Marines, you know. Might as well add some extended media that actually helps to portray what the Space Marines are, what the other chapters are like, and also how those chapters' relationships with their Primarchs function, as well as how other Primarchs go about their daily duties. You know, I think it could make for an interesting idea. I don't know if there's anyone on this planet who could fucking make that into a thing. I'm sure there is, but I don't know if there's anyone currently within Hollywood. Actually, yeah, scratch that. I don't think there's anyone outside of maybe like a couple of streaming services, maybe, who might be willing to spend money on such an idea. I don't know. Again, you don't know how rancid the corporate greed may go until it just happens. Like, I would definitely not suggest that we hand the rights over to people like, say, the fucking CW, or God forbid Disney. But certainly, Netflix has a track record of mostly getting things wrong, but sometimes they'll hire people who actually, when they know what they're doing, they'll actually do it, you know, and they'll do it right. And so there's a potential chance for Netflix to succeed in this, but at the same time, they're more likely to fuck it up, right? But then there's also the possibility, well, Amazon did have a possibility, but Amazon's clearly fucking rancid, right? So there's no way that's happening. Yeah, the only way I could see this happening is if someone decided to go independent, or better yet, what if Games Workshop, you know, decided to pull a Marvel, and they decided to start their own sort of like their own film studio, right? And make their own film or TV show about 40K, and then focus on making stories on their own with actors and all that other good shit, right? They could hire Henry Cavill. They can get all the right people in place for these things, and they would be in the best position to do it because, you know, who would understand the franchise better than the fucking people who help make this shit, right? And also are already experienced delegating and licensing out the property to people who who are pretty much, going to stay in line and be, and are at least versed enough or at least interested enough in wanting to make a game out of the franchise, right? And clearly they're versed enough to with this process to not make anything or do anything that's going to fuck things up more than then potentially than that's already been done, right? Because, I mean, like, they've been doing pretty well with the delegating process of, allowing other businesses and studios the keys to the kingdom for their property, right? I think if they just went the extra step and they decided to start their own studio and made their own films and TV shows, that would help to add even more to the potential stories they could tell with the 40K medium. And since they already have a litany of stories that are basically like genre specific and are very different from one another, I think you could easily tell stories in both a TV and in all three categories, right? Both video game, TV, and movie, right? You could easily do this, but I don't know if Games Workshop would even do something like that. In fact, I think they could do that, but they would have to hire someone who understands, like, the filmmaking process as well as how TV works, among other things, right? They would have to be willing to also publish that stuff and basically, fork the bill themselves. And then they'd have to find people who would basically help distribute it and what platforms will be willing to take their product, among other things, right? There's going to be a lot of more complications. But again, if it, you could just hire people who know how to do that stuff, right? But if the product works, and if the process works out very, works well, you could easily, create something that's far and beyond the tabletop, right? And that's far and beyond the video games aspects of it, right? And you could just make something that's actually far more, encompassing. It could be literally as monolithic as Star Wars if I wanted to. All it needs is just the people in charge to basically be the ones to make the final word, make the final decisions, and then just greenlight the shit that they're already used to vetting and greenlighting people into making projects, right? It wouldn't be that different. It's just more shit, It's just more work to be done, but at least it's actually going to work out in the end, right? Because I can't imagine a TV show set in the 40K universe or a movie set in the 40K universe somehow fucking itself over, right? Especially when you think about the kind of people who are, like, avid fans of the 40K universe. Like, there's no way in God's green earth you're not going to be hurting for money, right? Because some of these people are they will throw money away for this shit. The amount of figures and the amount of money those figures cost is ridiculous. But anyways, that's neither here or there, and I digress. It also means that even, like, casual fans of the franchise can finally also engage in different ways outside of video game content, right? And also tabletop content. It means they can also engage with it through, like, a visual format of two different variations. It means that they can engage with it through through an episodic medium or through a fucking filmation medium, right? It opens up the doors and possibilities for other fans and other, and more audiences to come in and be more immersed and engrossed in this franchise. And I think it's clear that with the release of Space Marines 2, the 40K franchise is going a little above and beyond the niche form of entertainment that it is. And so I think that if they were smart about how they pivot the direction of the franchise, they could easily still maintain the control and still maintain the consistency and the quality of their franchise if they maintain this continued structured order, but they just expanded upon it, right? I think they could easily do that. But I don't know. it means, again, it means that things that will be a little bit more complicated and a little harder in terms of how you go about making the things and how economics work, among other things. But, you know, like, you could still do it. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. Anyways, moving on. Okay, some loathe and fear us. They call us murderers and reapers. Others call us dancers of death, who send the souls of the dead on their way. Both are right, both are wrong. We are servants of the undying emperor. When he whispers that time has come for a righteous martyr's soul to be laid in his blessed hands, we come to claim it. When he whispers that the wicked must know of his wrath, we come to reap. This is how we maintain order on the ship, unseen and guided by the death's will. That's a fucking question. How do you know you have never made a mistake? How can you be sure you have never wrongly robbed one of your victims of their life?
We are carried along by a current of blood in the great river of fate. Life is not given or taken away by chance. If I see an enemy of humanity, my blade will sever the thread of their existence. I will not wait for a sign of his divine bidding. I am his will, and I do what must be done.
Another main reason why I make the argument of why it would be a good idea to make a TV show out of the Primarchs in particular is also just because, like, you know, that Greek comparison that I made earlier. I think because the Olympian gods, you know, like, they're just as weirdly colorful and diverse as of cast of characters than far and away from, like, most other gods and other pantheons and religions, right? I think you could easily do something similar with the Primarchs in the 40k universe, because they're all fundamentally different from one another, right? I mean, Fulgrim is not the same as Gilliman, and Horus is certainly not the same as Erebus, but Erebus is also a snide piece of shit who probably should have had his face kicked in a long time ago, but that's neither here or there as well. You know, the point being is that, you know, like, you could easily tell an interesting story about the Primarchs, or at least an interesting sort of, like, a weird drama or a family drama that focuses on death and violence, that attracts both male audiences and female audiences. But, you know, like, again, it's just focused on the Primarchs, right? Because then there's all this political fappening about, there's a lot of weird backstabbing, there's a lot, well, maybe not backstabbing, but there's certainly enough backhanded compliments and enough, like, disagreements and potential quarrels and quandaries between the Primarchs and the other chapters to certainly beget its own sort of weird drama, right? Its own sort of, like, story and drama spectacle. I think that you could easily tell a story in a TV... You could easily tell a TV show or story in a visual format, just focusing specifically on the Primarchs and their relationships with both their Legion and also the other Primarchs, as well as just a study in their character. You know, what made them into the people that they are. Because all the Primarchs, mind you, they all come from very distinctly different backgrounds, but they all have their own sort of weird quirks and habits that stem from the environments they grow up in, right? I mean, let's take fucking Angron, for example, you know? It's a lot of people have, well, not a lot of people, but a few people have theorized, at least from what I've seen, is that Angron is actually a character who originally, you know, like, he is suspected, okay, prior to being thrown into a gladiatorial pit and being basically forced into slavery and to fight for his life from a young age. You know, like, Angron was someone who originally many people have theorized was because, and I can see where the evidence comes from this, his Legion and the people in his Legion are very empathetic, but, you know, they're very they seem very emotionally in tuned, not only with themselves but to their brothers, and even to Angron, who had displayed on numerous occasions that he is just not willing to conform or to want to be anywhere near or a part of the Imperium, right? Or listen to the Emperor in any fashion, right? He doesn't even want to lead his chapter. But his chapter has been so consistently trying, or at least a few of the members have been trying so desperately to not only gain his approval, but also want to, basically find some way to help and also alleviate it or even relate to him. And that kind of speaks to the idea that Angron originally, before having a bunch of nails shoved into his brain that made him feel nothing but anger at every given waking moment of his life, he was originally supposed to be a character of unparalleled empathy. He was supposed to be potentially the Superman of his universe. Something that Gilliman ended up taking up the reins of, but that's. He had the potential purpose of being the Superman of the 40K universe. He was supposed to have potentially a universal level of empathy that would have set him apart from the rest of his brothers in a potentially more hopeful and optimistic way, right? But that got perverted the moment he decided to stand up for his adopted father and had a bunch of nails shoved into his head and then went fucking psycho mad and ended up killing his adopted father, and he never got over that. He was tortured by that memory ever since. And he's also tortured by the fact that he couldn't die with his actual brothers from the gladiator rings when they decided to fucking escape and, rebel against the people who basically kept them in slavery, right? I theorize that you could tell a very interesting story just focusing specifically on the Primarchs. And I think the evidence is there. You only need to look at all of the Primarchs and how they came to be to know that to be true, because they all serve a very different flavor of humanity and the human condition, right? Angron is one thing, but we also have Jagadai Khan, who is literally a Mongolian space marine who rides a motorcycle and consistently likes to hide behind a veneer of some competence, only to show his true competence when shit hits the fan, right? He is someone who always keeps his cards to himself until the moment presents itself, right? He's like someone who understands the principle of waiting for the best possible opportunity to strike when the opportunity presents itself, and he embodies that to a T, from what I understand. I have never seen or heard anything. I haven't even delved into Jagadai Khan's history. I just know a brief buffer about him, but from the sounds of it, he could make for an interesting character on his own, especially since I heard that the things that he says to his opponents is fucking savage. The guy is a roast god, apparently. So I think that and I think you could easily sell that to China if you wanted to, right? You can if you wanted nothing else, you can at least make a story about Jagadai Khan specifically for China, and then the Chinese would be into it, right? Again, sky's the limit for the franchise. It just takes people who want to do a thing to do it, right? And it takes Games Workshop to vet through and recognize the quality of the work as well as the idea presented, and then just, greenlighting it, right? That's all it really takes. And I think the potential is there. It's always been there for this franchise, but again, it's always been niche, and people never really had an open mind about the franchise until just recently with the release of Space Marines 2 and a few other things, right? Because it's all been building up, but I feel like with the monumental release of Space Marines 2, it's officially, at least in my opinion, hit the mainstream. And I'm not saying that just because I got into it and therefore everybody else should be into it, right? No, I'm saying that it's clearly sold a lot. At least it sold a lot more than I thought it would initially sell. And so it's only a matter of time, especially after the release of Dark Tide and a few other games, right? That this franchise finally breaks the shell of niche and goes into the ether as a actual franchise that is popular and people like recognize and understand to some extent, right? Outside of the superficial shit of just like, look at these blue boys in armor who run around like killing things and do weird shit, right? Like it finally could go from being just that to being like, oh yes, fucking Warhammer 40K. That's an interesting franchise. I played the game. I played at least one of their games. I've consumed at least one of their media. And, arguably, there's at least one person now. I'm sure there's at least one person or a few people out there who have a good portion of people who have never touched a 40K game, but there's probably a lot of people who have and have never realized it, right? And so again, like it's just a matter of like getting the right people in charge to make this thing actualized, right? To finally bring everything home, to finally make this thing into something bigger and grander than what it already is. But with that level again, like with that bit of like potential growth and optimism, we should exercise a little bit of trepidation. Again, like all it takes is one monumental fuck up in terms of like hiring the wrong people in charge, among other things, to potentially send this thing tumbling down into obscurity, right? I mean, just look at what Disney did to Star Wars. It's very easy to do if you have stupid people in charge. So, with that being said, I'm both hopeful and also a bit concerned for the 40K universe going forward, but I think there's a lot of ideas and potential here that's just sitting on the cutting room floor, and I would love to see people pick up those pieces and try to do something with it, right? Because, the potential, the material is all here. We just have to actualize it. But that's just, again, my creative brain speaking, and I digress. We shall move on. We are carried along by a current of blood into the great fates, whether life is not a given or taken by any chance. If I seen an enemy of humanity, my blade will sever the thread of their existence. I will not wait for a sign, his divine bidding. I am his will, and I do what must be done. You hear a whisper in your mind telling you to kill someone, and you obey. Have you ever considered that these whispers could be a deception orchestrated by minions of the archenemy?
Death's whisper is unmistakable. It is not like the murmur of stars or the hiss of corruption. It is truthful, pure, unyielding. Only the most eminent of us, the High Spinners, can hear the whisper of the Undying One and give voice to his will. They must hone their senses and temper their body and soul for years before his call can reach them. If it puts you more at ease, you can think of these whispers as his providence.
It really doesn't, but I'll take your word for it. Be that as it may, your thirst for blood is troubling.
There is no thirst, only duty. Killing brings us no pleasure. We are instruments of his will, and this is how we serve him.
Let's talk about something else. I already have an idea of how long you've been in existence. You have satisfied my curiosity for now. Cabela nods slightly. Tell me about yourself.
I am the second spinner of the blood-spun web. A spear in the hand of the Undying Emperor. I am your shield and shadow. Your blade.
How succinct. Do you dislike talking about yourself? A look of curiosity flashes across Cabela's face before it is masked by her usual stoic indifference.
The tenets compel us to let our deeds speak on our behalf. There is no one in the cult who does not know me. So I have grown accustomed to taciturnity in matters regarding myself. Ask, and I will try to give you an answer that will satisfy your thirst for knowledge.
Tell me about your past.
I remember nothing of my childhood. The Vizier says this is because of my training and the injuries I received in battle. He told me it is the fate of all high spinners. The only memories I have are of the blood-spun web and the brothers and sisters who serve the cult alongside me.
What was it like growing up in the cult? What do you remember?
When we were young, we would sew our eyes shut and wander through the bays for months at a time. Starving, surviving, dying. This trial of darkness honed the senses of those who passed it. We were elated, for we knew we were blessed by him. When we grew older, we learned to wield our weapons, and our mentors tested us with pain, poison, and the weight of deceitful words. In time, our bodies no longer felt pain. Our blood became resistant to toxins, and our focus could not be shaken. We were at peace, for we had shed everything that could encumber our faithful service to him.
Okay, moving on.
When we came of age, we faced a great trial. A year-long vigil spent in unceasing prayer to the Undying One. When hunger and other base sensations faded away, we attained true comprehension of ourselves and our place in the world. Our place between life and death. We were proud, for on that day, he truly accepted us, and we accepted him.
I can see now why you're the best assassin in the cult. The cost was worth it. It must have been difficult to go through all that as a child.
It is impossible to understand the value of your body and spirit if you've never experienced physical or emotional pain. Pain is temporary, but experience endures. Experience can be sharpened like a blade and turned into mastery. I've never regretted walking the thread I was destined to follow.
Your parents, your family. You never mentioned them.
When we join the cult, we relinquish our past. The blood-spun web becomes our new family. I have seen the pain, terror, and doubt in the eyes of those who hear the Undying One whisper the names of their kin. For some, the blessing of oblivion is a gift not unlike death.
Do you not wish to know what became of your family?
No.
Alright, simple enough. The answer escapes Cabela's lips before she can give it any thoughts. Upon realizing this, she produces a small blade seemingly out of nowhere and begins to sharpen it with pointed nonchalance. Upon realizing this, she produces a small blade seemingly out of nowhere and begins to sharpen it with pointed nonchalance. So because she doesn't so what I'm inferring here is that because she Because the answer had eluded her, because it's an interestingly pointed question that she's never had to think about or consider before, and that has some emotional weight to it, she has decided... I'm not sure anymore. It was clearly a thought. It clearly gave her some food for thoughts, but as a result of that, I'm assuming she decided to ignore that, and she's probably thinking of it as a means to just obfuscate it as just nonsensical, like, past life nonsense and just move on, right? Which is why she's focused on sharpening her blade. Just to, like, keep her mind off the thing. Or just to simply, like... just be like, huh, I've never felt this way about anything before. This is not good. This is not like me at all. I should just focus on something else. Right? That actually matters. Like sharpening my blade. And forget about the past. Or something, right? Alright, you may not remember your real family, but are you truly so unconcerned by the deaths of your fellow cultists?
It brings me comfort when my brothers and sisters cross to the other side. The Undying One has called them to his side, so they can serve him in ways we cannot.
I presume you have no friends either.
Attachment makes us weak. The weak meet their demise prematurely. But such death does not please the Undying One, for a soul must not be claimed before their time has come. It is true that spinners occasionally cross paths with those outside the cult, but such paths always diverge in the end. We may walk the same road together, but we are nothing more than temporary traveling companions. It is similar for those of your retinue. Our threads may intertwine for a time, but all will go their separate ways, as is inevitable.
No, you're not wrong about that.
But not you and I, Domin. Our threads cannot be unwoven, and only the Undying One will end my service to you.
I understand you better now.
Know your enemy and prevail in battle. Know your ally and prevail in war.
Your fighting style is unique. Do you think this is something I can learn?
Your body will fail you, Domin. Your bones will break. Your tendons will snap. Your heart will stop. Our rituals of self-perfection are unending. They demand absolute dedication and decades of special training. However, if you devote the next 30 years of your life to its study, you might be able to learn the basics.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
It is not difficult to speak the truth.
Alright.
May the Undying One shroud your footsteps from the faithless.
Her dialogue is certainly fascinating. Okay. Ugh. Alright, with that being said... Oh, I got a level up from that. Yeah, okay. So anyways, with that being said, this episode is about ready to come to a close. I could have finished her dialogue there, but I'm not going to be honest. I could, but I'm not going to, because I can already imagine what the rest of it's going to be like. For each adjacent ally, the soldiers deals 10% more damage to enemies. I'm gonna go with that. Eight stacks have never stopped shooting equal to half of their. I'll go with that. Alright. Well, yeah, so I could just do theirs later. With that being said, yeah, her dialogue is interesting, but not sure if I'm all that interested in the death cults, personally. I think they're fascinating, but I think they're fascinating when compared to how it reflects the rest of the Imperium, as well as other potential void ships, and how, like, it's certainly unique, right? It's just unique. It's like, it adds more depth to the world and the universe, but her cult in particular is not that fascinating to me, but it does add a little bit of layers and flavor to, again, the overall scope of the lore of this franchise, and so I do appreciate its inclusion. But anyways, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and cut the episode here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video, whether it's another Rogue Trader or some other game. I shall see you all later. Bye-bye.